guys, it's Christina of CraftyPaws. I am super excited to be sharing with you guys this card that I made as part of a collaboration with my dear crafty friend, Sarah Elliott. She's so talented and genuine and just a wonderful person. And she came up with a fabulous little project idea, and that was to use 3 different stamp sets in one card. When she came up with that idea, I toiled and toiled over what I would do. And then finally it came to me. I got this idea when I was making my challenge giveaway video to make birthday cards for my grandmother-in-law. I thought, why don't I try to do a card for her birthday? That's a little kind of portrait of my hubby and me and our dogs. Also, you'll notice that this is a very elaborate card, at least for me. I normally do more simple or cutesy cards, and while this is cutesy, it's got tons and tons of intricate dies and layers. I really wanted to challenge myself and make a really beautiful card for my grandmother-in-law. This also is a little easel card, and the message I'll be able to write right here. So she can keep this up on her nightstand, open and propped up, so she can enjoy it all the time. And she can still keep her message private from her friends who might be visiting. Let me share with you guys the stamp sets that I used. First, I used the Greeting Farm Together Anywhere set. And the minute I saw this stamp set, I knew that I wanted to get it because I thought these 2 characters could be my hubby and me. Then I used this little poodle from the Penny Black Mimi in Paris set. And I just love this little poodle. I think it's so cute and looks a lot like my biscuit with attitude. And then lastly, I used this little puppy from the A Random Fan Wanderlust set. And I think he is so stinking cute. And I was worried about how I was going to get around this arm here and the missing part of his little body there. But it was really easy. I just masked it off with a little piece of Scotch tape, inked it up, stamped it out, and then I drew in the little parts of the puppy, which were really easy because it's just a teeny bit that isn't showing. So I just kind of connected the lines there with a Copic multi-liner pen, and that was that. So you see here, he's kind of propped up because he was propped up on this little Vespa, and now he's propped up on his dad's leg there. I'm really pleased with how this all came together because in terms of their size, this is actually pretty accurate. So proportionally with the people and the dogs, everybody's kind of the right scale. Now I'm going to attach a process video sharing with you guys the process of assembling the card, not the coloring and fussy cutting portion, but the assembling and kind of showing the design of this easel card. The first thing I'm doing here is prepping all of the white cardstock die cut pieces. These are all La La Land Crafts dies. There's a heart doily border, open hearts doily, heart banner, and heart doily. And I'm using Delicata Golden Glitz pigment ink to give all the pieces some definition along the edges as well as some beautiful shimmer. For the base of the card, I am taking pumpkin colored cardstock and I'm inking the edges with Tim Holtz Distress ink in tea dye color. Then I'm adhering that to the white cardstock that's just about 1/4 of an inch larger on every side, and I am inking the edges of that with Distress ink as well. Now I'm prepping the first of many layers. I use the Diamond Dies Labels 2 Top Note Nesting Die set, and then I'm cutting around it because I wanted the border of the next layer, the white cardstock layer, to be very thin around it. And the pattern paper, luckily, is in purple and orange. I was so happy to have found that in my stash. I often color up my images and then hunt for paper to coordinate, and sometimes I'm lucky and sometimes I'm not. Here I'm just adhering the first layer, and now I am tucking in the die cut pieces. I do secure this with wet glue, I just don't think I caught it on video. Before I adhere the next layer, I am inking up the edges. I'm using the Delicata Golden Glitz for the white cardstock, and I'm adhering that down to some more of that orange cardstock, and I am again fussy cutting around that just so that it has a very thin border. And around the orange cardstock, again, I'm using the Tim Holtz Distress ink in tea dye to ink the edges. It's a little time consuming, but I think inking around each and every layer gives the project a much more finished look. And now for this third layer, I'm using double-sided foam adhesive to pop up this layer up a little bit from the card base. For the die cut heart doilies, I'm going to add more foam adhesive to pop it up even further. And in some areas, I'm going to have a double layer of foam adhesive. And in other areas, I'm having a single layer of foam adhesive. This way, the heart doily frame is level. Now I've prepped both of the characters with double-sided foam adhesive, making sure to leave a space where the doily heart die cuts would fit behind them, like in their head area. And then I just use a little bit of wet glue to make sure they're down securely. And that way those characters are all on one level plane. For the little puppy that's supposed to be Bandito, I add a little bit of foam adhesive, but again, I make sure that the area that's going to be up on top of the little boy character, I'm just using wet glue so that that puppy is on one level. Now I'm using a Copic multi-liner pen. I'm drawing in a leash for the little poodle character. And I'm just using plain wet glue to glue down that poodle. There's so many delicate, tiny little pieces by the legs and tail that I thought making it more secure on the card base would be better. Now I decided to add some heart banner dies, and I'm looping them through, just tucking them behind as if they're hung from those framed doily hearts. To finish off those banners, I decided to add some flat back pearls at the seams, kind of where each of the little pennants attaches to the next one. And I think I skipped showing you doing the exact same thing on the other side. Now for the base, I thought I would have the characters kind of standing on top of a bed of flowers. So I'm taking some cream colored large paper flowers, and I've inked those up with the Delicata Golden Glitz ink. And then I'm adding other kind of medium cream colored flowers, some small cream colored flowers. And because this whole card is turning out to be very symmetrical rather than asymmetrical, I'm doing the exact same composition on the left side with the flowers as I did on the right. And I think I try generally to keep these flowers in odd numbers. Even when a project is very symmetrical like this, a lot of times using odd numbers of items is more pleasing to the eye. Then I decided to carry through the orange from the little girl's coat into the flowers as well. And I had these really beautiful kind of ombre colored orange, reddish little roses. So I thought I would tuck those in here and there in the nooks and crannies in the flower bed. I don't know if I got the best shot of this, but I'm using a heat tool to eliminate all of the glue strings. I love this tip. Hopefully it'll help you guys too. Rather than trying to pull off with your fingers the little glue strings that you get when you're hot gluing things to a project, using a little heat tool, somehow it melts all the way. Now I'm prepping the inside of the card. This is where I'm gonna be attaching a stopper for the easel card. And I'm going to be, adding other die cuts and little embellishments to decorate up the inside of the card. For the structure of the easel card, I'm taking a 12x6 piece of cardstock and I'm folding it at 6 inches and at 9 inches. Then I'm taking the label that I had just prepared, and that goes on the inside. And see, that's the structure. And now I'm adding ATG adhesive just to that half of the front of the card base. and attaching that card that I've been preparing this whole time. I've used a Diamond Dies Label 1 nesting die set, and I'm using a Stampin' Up! Stamp that just says Happy Birthday. It's an old set. And I'm making a little sentiment / label / stopper for the inside of the card. I'm inking the edges there with more Delicata Gold ink. The next layer underneath is going to be this orange cardstock, which I'm inking up with more tea dye ink. And I'm attaching both of those labels with double-sided foam adhesive. This added dimension makes for a really secure stop for the easel of the card. Now I decided I needed more tea dye ink for the base of the card, just inking the edges. For some little bling, I decided to add some flat back pearls on either side of the label and on top of the label. And then I wanted to add some more sparkle, so I have these old bling pieces in orange, and the adhesive has long since not worked very well, so I used E6000 glue and put little dabs of those in the corner. Now I decided to further embellish this card base with some heart die cuts, and actually these are the hearts that were from the heart banner die that I used in the card front. I inked those little hearts with Delicata Gold ink too. I added a couple more heart banner dies for the inside, and that's really the finished card. I hope you enjoyed this process video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to check out Sarah Elliott's 3 Stamps for 1 card project too.